Okay, hello everyone. This is Sherry Anderson, and this is day 2 of the Ultimate Lead Page Challenge. And today we are going to be talking about hot headlines. And this is going to be super important to the actual conversions of your lead pages because the hot headlines are what get people in the door and interested in what you have to say. So, let's see if I can get my mouse here to click. There we go. So here's what you will be learning today in this presentation. I will be talking about how to create a hot headline for your lead page, the various lead page headline formulas. I have 3 that I really like, 3 of my favorites. There's more, but I'll be sharing 3 of my favorite with you ladies today. And I will be talking about the crucial relationship between your headline and your ideal client. So, what is a hot headline? This is a headline that causes your ideal client to break away from what they're currently doing because it grabs their attention. And it's an opportunity for you to make a connection with your ideal client by speaking directly to some aspect of your expertise. So it's very important to have a headline that gets people to stop what they're doing because there's so much going on in the online world. You want your headline to speak directly to that person and address a solution, a problem, something that grabs their attention and gets them to take a second look and click in order to go to that lead page. So your hot headline should accomplish 4 primary goals. It should get your ideal client excited. It should let your ideal client know that you're speaking directly to them. It should clearly reveal the benefit involved in consuming your lead magnet. And it should speak directly to a problem your ideal client is experiencing or a goal they want to achieve. So I know that's a lot to accomplish in a headline, but that's what we're going for. So it's like you want to say as much as possible in as few words as possible. So that is the major task that we have before us when we're creating these hot headlines, because we have so much that we want to say and we want to get our point across, but condensing it down into that hot headline is what so many of us struggle with. And it's something that takes a lot of practice. So if it's not something that comes naturally to a lot of people. And I know even for myself personally, this is something that I've struggled with over the years. And the more I do it, the better I get at it. So don't be discouraged if you're struggling coming up with hot headlines. Don't worry about it, because there are processes that I'm going to talk to you about today that'll sort of help you through those rough patches when you're trying to come up with these hot headlines. Okay, so what types of headlines are there? I personally have 3 favorite types of headlines, and I'm going to share these with you and give you 3 examples of them, and then go into a little bit more detail on the next slide coming up here. So the first type of headline is the process. So with this headline, an example is 7 diet changes you can make today to start feeling better tomorrow. You can see that when someone comes across this headline, they know that it's a step-by-step, like a 7 things that they need to do. So that is basically, the process, that they know there's going to be things that they can start implementing to start getting results quickly, because they're going to start feeling better by tomorrow. So you want to, anytime you start out a headline, you want to start it out, especially in the process. You can have like this one is the 7 diet changes you can make, or like 3, I know, like three keys to XYZ, or I know I have a lead magnet right now that I'm using that is 5 ways to grow your business while working less in 2017. So, it's that process. So there's things that you're going to be teaching someone that they can do to get a result. The next type of headline is the goal. How to make 5 figures plus each month. That is a very simple how-to headlines are very effective, especially if you get detailed in the solutions that you're offering after you say the how-to. So you don't want to be too vague after the how-to. You want to be as specific as possible. And then also there is the question headline, which is like, does your team see you as an effective leader? Question headlines work really well for like quizzes. So it would be like, does your team see you as an effective leader? Take this quiz now and see what type of leader you are, or something like that. So that's where just the basic question could be a super effective headline for you. Now, each of these headlines can and should be tweaked to appeal to your ideal client. So with that example that I used on the last slide, the how to make 5 figures plus each month. If your ideal client is a mompreneur, then time is more than likely a constraint. So you might want to add a qualifying statement. So an example of this would be how to make 5 figures plus each month while decreasing your workload. Another qualifying statement transition would be like how to make 5 figures plus each month so that, and then telling what would happen. So it's like while or so that, or in order to, you know, carry on that statement so that you're describing in more detail the outcome. By adding this statement, you're causing your ideal client to say yes to you 2 times. So at the beginning of that statement, you see how to make 5 figures plus each month. And you're like, yes, I want to make 5 figures plus each month. And then they read while decreasing your workload. It's like, yes, I want to decrease my workload. So they've already said yes 2 times in that statement, in that headline. So that's a definite plus, because that's really drawing your ideal client's attention to what you have to offer. It's going to get them to actually click and go to that lead page. Now, basically, I just put this in here because the hot headline is really the basis of your lead page. It's what's going to get their attention. The lead page is basically built upon these 3 parts. You have your hot headline, your compelling copy, and your superior structure, like how it's all laid out and organized on the page to get the most opt-ins. So like I said, yesterday we talked about the lead magnet itself, and today we're actually getting into what's going to make these lead pages convert. So some of the benefits of having a hot headline. It ensures that your ideal client will look at your lead page, because if the headline doesn't grab their attention, they'll probably never even get there to get more information. So you want to make sure that it gets your ideal client to look at your page. It shows that you are in tune with the needs of your ideal client, because if they read the headline and they're saying yes, yes, then they're like, okay, I want to go learn more. So they're going to click and go to the lead page, which is going to give them more information. It provides your ideal client with a preliminary sense of hope, because they're like, oh my goodness, this person must be reading my mind because this is exactly what I need right now, and they have the solution or the answer for my problem. So they have a hope that you can fix or help them fix whatever problem that they're having. And it increases your prospects of obtaining a new lead. So when you have that hot headline that is talking directly to that ideal client, it's more likely that they're going to click and take that call to action that you've put on your lead page to hand over their name and email address, because they are starting to already believe that you have a solution or answer for them. So the big question is, how do you create a hot headline? The first thing you're going to do is you're going to determine the headline type that your ideal client will respond to. So anything that we create, we always create it with our ideal client in mind. You know, do they respond better to the question or a goal? Is there something that they're trying to accomplish? Or are they looking for that template, that step-by-step walking through process? So you want to determine what type of of format you're going to set up your headline in. Then you're going to want to write out several options and get feedback. Now this is where, for me personally, I'm going to share with you how I do it. The way I create my hot headlines is that I start out with just a blank sheet of paper, and I will start listing every single idea that comes to my mind. And I don't always have this first part up here determined. I don't always know the type of headline that I'm going to be using. So sometimes I'll even just write out different options, different ways, just write out everything that I can think of. There's no bad headline at this point. So even if you're only changing 2 or 3 words or 1 or 2 words out of every single option, you want to come up with maybe a complete list of 20, 25 options even. I mean, you could come up with a ton of headline options that you can work with. And in doing this, what you're going to have is that you're going to have all of these options to look at. And then once I have all of the options, I start mixing and matching. And eventually I'm able to narrow it down to where I have 3 to 5 good options. And then out of that, I can usually mix and match it and get it down to 1 or 2. And don't feel like you have to come up with the perfect headline up front, because that's where you can get feedback, and that's where you can, even if you come up with 2 or 3 headlines that you think are really good, you can then use those 2 or 3 headlines and A/B split test on down the road. Or you can go into groups and get feedback from people in groups that you're a part of and get people's opinions. So don't feel like you just have to come up with that #1 perfect headline right away, because even for me personally, there have been times when I've had headlines that I thought would be amazing and get amazing results, and I put them into my lead page and started advertising and getting lead people to the page, and then I tested a headline. All I changed on the page was the headline by itself, and the one that I didn't like as much got better opt-ins. So sometimes our opinions are completely wrong. It doesn't mean that they're bad. It's just that not everyone thinks like we do and understands things and comprehends things the way we do. So we always want to make sure that we're testing and getting the best results for our lead pages. And headlines are one of those things that you do want to test out. And also, if you're struggling, don't hesitate to reach out and get help. If you need to hire a copywriter, there's no shame in getting support or help if you need it. If you need a reference for a copywriter, I have plenty of copywriter friends that could help you guys out getting your hot headline. Or, I'm going to be working with you guys, and I'm sure we can come up with some good hot headlines for you even here today on this call. And the last thing we have to do is we just have to lock in your hot headline and go out there and start using it and start testing it and making sure people are relating to it and clicking. So that is what we need to do. Now, for the best results, your headline should not be excessively long. On average, 8 to 12 words work best on Twitter. 12 to 14 words convert best on Facebook, and pretty much no matter what, you don't want to go over 14 words. And this was just some advice that I found on HubSpot. So we want to make sure that we're keeping our headlines concise and not going on and on and on. We want to try and keep them, the shorter the better, really. And we want to make sure that we're including strong words. The stronger your adjectives and verbs, the more conviction you are showing. So you want to make sure that we're using very descriptive and strong words that convey authority. And so as we're doing that, working with your headlines, people want to be getting information from experts. And if you're strong and your words are strong, then they're going to be like, okay, you have solutions, you have answers. I want to hear more about what you have to say. And then also, we want to try and call your ideal client out. We have to speak to your ideal client in the terms in which they view themselves and in the language that they understand. And this is so hard for so many experts out there because we have our own verbiage around our special gift or skill set that we have become experts in, that sometimes we speak above our clients. So we have to make sure that we're speaking in terms that they can understand so that they can resonate with the headline and will click on it and participate and follow through with the call to action. Now, so what we've learned today, I talked about how to create a hot headline for your lead page. I talked about 3 of the various lead page headline formulas that you might want to use, and the crucial relationship between your headline and your ideal client. So I hope you guys found all of this information about hot headlines helpful today, and I'm looking forward to having questions or interactions with you guys. And just know tomorrow we'll be talking about compelling copy, and we will be live again tomorrow at 2 p.m. for those of you that are going through this Ultimate Lead Page Challenge live. For those of you who are getting a replay of it, you'll be getting an email tomorrow with the next day. So I thank you guys for attending today, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.